Welcome to the Chocolates class. In this video, we are going to study human skeleton. The skeleton occurs in two forms, exoskeleton and endoskeleton. Exoskeleton covers the body surface and gives protection to the organism. Endoskeleton is a built-in skeleton and it gives support, shape or the form to the organism. Exoskeleton in vertebrates is in the form of scales, feathers, hair, horns, hooves, etc. The scales are present in fishes, reptiles, birds, and mammals. Feathers are a unique character of the birds. Hair, horns, hooves, claws, these are forming the exoskeleton in mammals. The endoskeleton in vertebrates may be made up of cartilage or bone. Cartilaginous endoskeleton is present in chondrichthyes and cyclostomes. Petromyzon is a jawless fish. It has cartilaginous endoskeleton. The chondrichthyes includes sharks and rays. Their endoskeleton is cartilaginous, so these are also called cartilaginous fishes. The bony endoskeleton is present in osteichthyes, in which the bony fishes are included, and also amphibia. It is a class of frogs, and reptilia. In this class, the lizards and the snakes, etc. are included. The birds have bony endoskeleton, but that endoskeleton is pneumatic endoskeleton. Mammals also have bony endoskeleton. So thus the endoskeleton occurs in two forms, that is the cartilaginous endoskeleton, bony endoskeleton. In these organisms, the endoskeleton mainly made up of bone. Cartilage also present in this one, but majorly it is made up of bone. The endoskeleton in humans or the vertebrates is divided into two types. One is the axial skeleton and another is the appendicular skeleton. The bones of axial skeleton are present in the line of body axis. They include skull, vertebral column, sternum and ribs. Appendicular skeleton, it includes pectoral girdle. Here the pectoral girdle is there, scapula and clavicle, and pelvic girdle. To this pelvic girdle, the bones of hind limbs are attached. To the pectoral girdle, the bones of forelimbs are attached. Thus, appendicular skeleton has four parts: pectoral girdle, pelvic girdle, bones of forelimbs, bones of hind limbs. Axial skeleton has a skull, a vertebral column, sternum and ribs. Now let us study the human skull, which is a part of axial skeleton. The bones of skull are included under four groups. Those are cranial bones, facial bones, ear ossicles and hyoid bone. This is the cranium. These are the cranial bones. The cranium is nothing but brain box where the brain is protected. These bones are called facial bones. These form the face, and the ear ossicles are the ear bones, malleus, incus, stapes, etc. Next, hyoid bone. The position of hyoid bone is here. It is outside the skull. Cranial bones are frontal bone, parietals, occipital, temporals, sphenoid, ethmoid. Frontal bone is 1. Parietals are 2. Occipital is 1. Temporals are 2. Sphenoid is 1. Ethmoid is 1. This is the frontal bone which forms the forehead of the skull. These are parietals. Parietals form the top of the cranium and also the sides of the cranium. These are paired bones. The unpaired bone is occipital bone and which forms the posterior part of the cranium. This is unpaired bone and temporals. These form the sides of the cranium. Sphenoid. This is unpaired bone and it forms the floor of the cranium, but it is visible on both the sides, right and left sides. Here, ethmoid bone is present. Here, ethmoid bone. Ethmoid bone is a unpaired bone. These are the cranial bones. Once we recall, the cranial bones are 6 types. The total bones, cranial bones are 8. Frontal 1, parietals 2, occipital 1, temporals 2, sphenoid 1, ethmoid 1. In the cranial bones, the paired bones are parietals and temporals. Unpaired bones are frontal, occipital, sphenoid and ethmoid. Now, the facial bones. The facial bones are 8 types. Let us count these bones. Nasals are 2. Zygomatic bones are 2. Lacrimals are 2. Maxillary 2. Mandibular 1. Palatines 2. Vomer 1. Inferior concave 2. Total 14 bones are forming the face. These are called the facial bones. First, nasals. These are the nasals. These are paired bones which form the nasal bridge. Zygomatic bones are called cheekbones. These are the zygomatic bones. In this position, lacrimals are present. These are also paired bones. Maxillary bones are 2. Maxillary bone contains maxillary teeth. Maxilla is also called upper jaw. Maxillary bones are paired bones. The unpaired bone is the mandibular bone or lower jaw, movable bone of a skull. It consists the lower jaw teeth. Next, palatines. See the roof of the buccal cavity. You know that roof of the buccal cavity is called palate. This palate is supported by a pair of palatine bones. These are the palatine bones. These form the roof of the buccal cavity. One more unpaired bone is vomer. This is the vomer. This place shows the internal nostrils. This is the vomer bone. Next, last type is inferior concave. These are 2. This is the sagittal section of the head. This is the lacrimal bone and this is the maxilla. This is the nasal cavity. Entire one is the nasal cavity. The nasal cavity is divided into 2 by nasal septum. The nasal septum is supported by 3 bony elements. One is superior concha and middle concha. Superior concha and middle concha are the processes of ethmoid bone. Ethmoid is a skull bone. The inferior concha, these are also called inferior nasal concha. These are paired bones and this is the inferior concha. Inferior concha, middle concha and superior concha, they give support to the nasal septum. Next, ear ossicles. The middle ear contains 3 bones. Those are the malleus, incus and stapes. Malleus is also called hammer. This is connected to tympanum one end. The other end is connected to the incus. Incus is also called anvil. This is the middle bone of the ear ossicles. And this incus forms a joint with the malleus. This joint is saddle joint. And another end of the incus is connected to stapes. It forms a joint, incudostapedial joint. Incudostapedial joint is a ball and socket joint. The smallest bone in human body is the stapes. One end is connected to the incus and another end is connected to the foramen ovale. Hyoid bone. It is one of the skull bones, but this hyoid bone is not associated with the skull. It is placed outside the skull. This is the position of the hyoid. Above the larynx, it is present. It is a U-shaped bone. This is the hyoid bone. This one, it is a U-shaped bone. This is the body. These are the horns, longer horn and shorter horn. That is about skull. Thank you for visiting the Chocolates class.